Hello everybody, I'm Josh. I was a head of computer science in UK schools. I was a computer science examiner, and also I run a tutoring business where I've helped thousands of students to get better grades. Now, today's lesson is all to do with arrays and how we input information into them and also output information from them. I've taken this question, which is where we are going to enter in the average temperatures for each month, and that's going to just help to show you what similar sorts of questions may come up in your exams. Now, with this, what I would say is you can easily just make a flashcard on the two big programming constructs, which is how do I enter information into a list? How do I get information out of it? So just to save time, what I've done is I've made a list on the months of the year. As you can see, each value is separated by a comma, square brackets, and it's speech marks in there. If it was integers or real values, obviously I wouldn't put speech marks around them, but that's how you create a list if you don't know how to do that. I've then created a blank list called temps, and then what I need to do is I need to start inputting data into it. Now, to do this, I would use a for loop. This is what they are going to be looking for is in the exam. Now, we are going to be doing this 12 times, so that's why I'm going to put 12 in the for loops, because I want it to loop 12 times. And then I am going to start getting some information from the user so that then I can put it into my temps list. So if I use an appropriate variable, so if I put average or av temp is equal to int input, please enter the temp for. And then if we also on here, you're not going to use a comma in this one. You're actually going to use a plus. Now, the reason that we use a plus is because it doesn't like it when you use variables in the input part of it. So what we're going to do is if we put plus, this will then work correctly, is we're going to put months, square brackets, I. Okay. So just a very, very quick thing about how this works. We use the index variable of the for loop, which starts off at 0 and then goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 11. Computers start from 0. And instead of us having to output each value individually, so like please enter the temp for January, Feb, March, what we can do is we can use the counter variable, which is going to change after each loop. So months, square bracket 0 is going to be the first value, which is Jan. So, and then it goes to Feb. So that then becomes 1, 2, March, 3. So remember, computers start from 0, so the first value is 0. So, I mean, if I might be able to quickly, so can you say, please enter the temp for Jan? You then enter some information in there. Please enter the temp for Feb, because the loop has been incremented. So it goes up by 1 each time, and it just means that it saves us a load of time and helps us to do this in the most efficient way possible. Once we've done that, the key word that you need to know is to be able to do temps dot append, which is just a fancy word to add, and then we put the variable in there. So we want to add that to our list, and that just starts putting those into the list. These ones here, this loop here is how we enter data into a list. So that's the one that you want to put on your flashcard. The other one that we are going to want to be able to do is to output data from a list one at a time. So what I could do is I'm going to use another for loop, not indented, as you can see. So the indentation is just for these ones. So I'm going to go for I in range, bracket, and I'll use len temps. I could put 12 in there, but just to give you, because it could be in a different question where you don't know how long the list needs to be, it needs to fit a list length. So then you could use len there. You then put in a colon, and then all you're going to do there is then you just start outputting the data. Now with print, you can just use a comma to do this. And we're going to use the same technique that we did for this one. So we'll do months, square bracket, I, comma. So that will say Jan's temp is, comma, and then we're going to use temps square bracket I. Okay, and what that will do is that will say Jan's temp is whatever we entered it in. Feb's temp is this, and it just goes through. And this is how we output the information using a for loop.